Okay, dynamic. Even you are looking at this term called the DynamoDB, you can see what you get the meaning of this name. It gives some sort of idea about the dynamic database. What do you mean by why it is say it is a dynamic database? Yes, if you are using the DynamoDB have a capability or ability to storing the small amounts of data into the large amounts of data. When you're looking at some databases, something like Access, their logical algorithms are optimized to not that much of optimized. They are only capable enough to storing small amounts of data. When you're looking like the SQL Server database, it is something like fair enough to storing large amounts of data. When you're looking at the Oracle or a PostgreSQL, okay, they are a giant. They can store large amounts of data. So, but when in this situation, when looking at the DynamoDB, yes, it is can storing or managing large amounts of data efficiently. DynamoDB manage a high volumes of data, so you can use DynamoDB to storing less amounts of data. And do you feel we are going to pay for a large amounts of money? No, the money you are going to pay even if your data amounts of data is very small. You are going to pay for the less amounts of money for them. If your data when your database gradually become large, or when you are maintaining a high volumes of data, then you have come up with the issue, because your data is now very big. In this situation, if when you amounts of data getting increased, they will gradually increase the price of the cost. So at the development, you have to focus on the amounts of data that you're going to store. But in this situation, you don't need to worry about it as a developers about the performance impact, because this database is well behaved, and it is supporting for the small amounts of data and the large amounts of data. And it has auto adjusting facility, adjusting feature. It is something like if you have small amounts of data, you no need to put extra, you no need to have extra special performance features. But when the data amounts of data getting increased, the amounts of accessibility is getting increased, amounts of the traffic get increased, it's automatically apply the required features to the database system. That is the advantage of using the DynamoDB. So even you are using imaging, usually all the business are gradually get increased or gradually get performs. In this situation, I think the best way to use the DynamoDB, because in gradually the database, you can enhance your database features, you can enhance your all the supportive features. And when you were in the small business, you have to spend less amount. When you become large business, when you get in large, your cost gradually increase. You can bear that cost. At the very beginning, you can think, oh, okay, I'm going to do a large amounts of network. It means my data consumption, I'm going to use the large amounts of maintain a large amounts of data. At the very beginning, your data amounts of data might be zero or very less. When you are as a business, when you're progressing, you no need to worry about increasing the infrastructures, increase the software, changing the software, modifying the software, modifying the extra servers, because the data management part is handled by the DynamoDB, and as a business person, this is a perfect idea. Data set of DynamoDB. Yeah. Do you heard some terms and the requirements of the database? I mean, in the database, when we are discussing the database, there's a concept called atomicity. Atomicity is the concept you are storing in the database. You are storing the atomic levels of data. Atomic levels of data means this data cannot be divided or cannot break into another level. Imagine your age is 25. Still, if you break down this 25 into 2 and 5, then you damage the meaning of the data. So it means you have to store the age 25 as it is with the two figures, nothing but two figures. You can't do any changes. Okay. So imagine when you're making a field, when you're in the database, you are having an employee table. In the employee table, there's a field called address. So this is one single field. So when you write in the address, you are saying 152-B Vellavidya Road, Gonava. Okay. So if you write something like this, so does it composite attribute or does it follow atomicity? No. The reason is when you analyze your address, it is having three parts. But first is the house number, the second is the street name, third is the city. Maybe if you are writing your postcode something like 11,600 or 11,400, maybe depending on situation. But if you write some postcode, the postcode become another additional feature, because if you are using the postcode, you can identify the post office directly. When you make all the things together, you will lose the atomicity. You are breaking the atomicity law in the database, and you will forgot to maintain something like you will lose this opportunity of you use the postcode to find the post office. So developers should have to provide extra effort to derive the extract information from this plain text. So in the no SQL situation, they are maintaining two things: the partial key. The partial key is something like hash key. It is import to find the data. Could you remember in the NoSQL they are maintaining a collections of data, not a one single data. They are maintaining a collections of data. In this data collection, you have to identify a particular tuple or a particular item. In the collection, we don't have rows, we don't have tuples, we have something called items. To identify this particular item, you have to use this partial key to identify the particular group. If you're losing your partial key, I'm really sorry, or I'm really happy to say your data is lost. So the short key we use, it is an optional key. We are using the short key to keep the relation between the data. Actually, not the data items. The collection, we are having a sequence of items. In this sequence item, to keep the relationship, we use another table, another attribute. This is called the attribute the partial. The secondary index. The secondary index is uh, it is an alternative key, and we are using the secondary index for the sorting purposes. Indexes are local partial keys. It means you can use the indexes to find data, but it is not giving very big advantage to using indexes, because our previous case I have mentioned the partial key. The partial key is the most efficient and effective way to find the data, but still you can use the indexes to increase, to use the efficiencies by considering, but way of you are using it might be going to be different. Reach to the data through the index, that's possible. You can access the data like partial, like our this key, it means the partial key. Okay. There are two types of indexes: global secondary indexes and local secondary indexes. Please refer detailed information. What is the global secondary indexes, and what is the difference between local and the global secondary indexes. Define the sort index table. Okay, you can, by using the second indexes key, so you can maintain the sort key tables. Okay. Global secondary index table. When you're using the global, when you're discussing about the global secondary indexes, we stand for GSI, and it is used as the sort key and the partial key. It is completely different. That we are maintaining a sort key and the partial key is differently, and the index is cross access for the all partial keys. It means we are using the indexes. When you are using the global index, we are maintaining two keys. One is the sort key and the partial key. In the normal situation, we are having something called the sort key and the partial key, and the partial key and the sort key should be matched. Okay. I will get example. When we are talking about okay, no, show limitations. Okay, I forgot my pen. Okay, when we are getting the table, this is the table, and this table contains something like this is the employee table, EMP table. In this employee table, you are maintaining EMP ID 1, 2, 3 like this. Okay. When you are making a relationship between employee and the department column should be there, and this key should be matched with the department key. So, what do you think? When you are making the partial key with the sorted key, the partial key is behave like your primary key column, and the sorted key is behave like the same like your relationship. Okay. So when we are selecting a particular record, this is Anu, and Anu's this department ID should be matched with this one. This ID, this ID in here. The exact similar value, exact value shouldn't be changed. Okay, but if you are using the global indexes, okay, you can use to make the relationship. You no need to use the sorted key. Instead of that, you can use the indexes, and you're setting the indexes in here. So you can you can separate. Furthermore, you no need to use the sorted key.